it's not about putting away laundry. Although, there are some mothers-in-law who could comment on that in a very, very mean way. But some people very often do not start performing actions because they know they will never be approved by others, which is quite sad as well. It could be an early sign of depression or fear of failure, or it's just sort of something wrong going on with this person's lifestyle, okay? But now, this was very general, but how is this connected with egoism and being lazy, perhaps in when being a parent? And again, I feel that there is a massive stigma around mothers taking time off from looking after the house and looking after the kids, feeling like nearly physically guilty, okay? I'm not a massive, maybe that's not the right way to put it in words, but I don't really feel guilty when I take a break or do some me time away from my child. But, for example, the thought of going away for a weekend with my friends makes me cringe a bit, because I think, oh my God, I will leave my son for 2 days. How is that? Wow, no, that would be hard, okay? I'm really dreaming that I would do it one day, but it would be hard, okay? So there is that, okay? There is that feeling of, okay, but what if people think that I don't care? What if people think that me taking a break, whatever that break is, scrolling through your phone or going away for a weekend or actually going out and doing something nice, what if people think that means that I'm a bad mother? Okay, because mothers are expected to give 100% of themselves all the time. How can we do that if our batteries are dying? Okay, it's such simple, trivial things, but how can we? Okay, so I would say that laziness can be, if we think about it, and if we think about what causes laziness, and obviously there are all those other reasons like fear of responsibility and just being tired or not having any specific goals or just lack of motivation to do something, but think about some mundane, really obvious jobs that parents or mothers have to do every day. There is barely anything exciting in it. So I think that it's quite possible and easy to reach the point of, okay, I just don't feel like doing it and I need a break. So, the break in form of sitting down and scrolling through your phone can be a sign of you being absolutely sick and tired of doing the same thing every day for, the last 3 years or whatever. Or do you remember there was this graphic or a meme flying around the internet with the things that I did today. And there was a mom who played with her kid, cooked a lovely meal for her kid, did arts and crafts with her kid, did laundry, did this and that, and literally 15 things. And then behind that, there was a sentence saying, and this is what you saw. And there was a mom pushing a buggy, a stroller, and scrolling through her phone. And I think that's symptomatic of exactly what I'm talking about as well. So we judge and label mothers as lazy because of certain choices that they make, okay? And here I'm kind of very much approaching the general truths about being a parent in the nowadays world, which means that there is no village to help us raise kids. Okay, for example, us, we live so far away from any family or friends that we can only count on each other, which, it kind of naturally means that we just get more tired. But people do not, people are very afraid to accept it, that it is just generally hard to be a parent these days. I'm not saying it's harder than what it used to be, because, we've got so many things that whatever technological revolution has brought, like the phones being one thing, right? Or internet, or access to information. But still, it's a bloody hard job, okay? And again, there is this pressure, there is this society that puts a lot of judgment, labeling on mums, on parents in general, and on the people, I would say. Another anecdote is that a friend of mine told me that she observes people more and more reaching some certain level of richness, right? And being quite comfortable with their finances, but still working crazy hours. And I know you can think of greed here and them not ever being satisfied with what they own. But you know what? I think it's actually this sort of imbalanced, that's a very sensitive word, but maybe not imbalanced but I'm going to use it because of the lack of a better word, of, what, there is really little value in what people think about taking a break or spending quality time with families, okay? People think that being successful means being hardworking, okay? And I know it can be one thing, but shouldn't it really be balanced? And I think that's our problem. That's our problem in general. We put too much pressure on others, and especially as we know, we very often project our own sort of fears and our own judgment of our behaviors and actions on others. So maybe we would want to take a break sometimes, but when we see someone who is actually sitting and doing nothing in theory, we just envy them. So, guys, I'm going to finish my rumbling. But what I'm going to say at the end is, I would say, be egoistic and be lazy, okay? Allow yourself to avoid burnout, to promote self-care. And by self-care, I don't mean peeing on your own or taking a bloody shower. No, I mean real self-care. Thinking about the needs that you had as a person before you became somebody's parent, okay? Because those needs are still as valid. And be in touch with your own levels of energy and your own mental state, okay? Think about it, pause, and don't think that anything will fall down in pieces or whatever if you don't do your laundry or whatever this evening. I think we need more of letting go, of having time to reflect, and just sort of admitting that, okay, I really need a break. And I know the society and I know that my family needs me, but if I keep doing that, I might end up in a really bad place. So I'd rather you guys prevented that when it's still preventable. And the trivial, obvious thing, you cannot pour from an empty cup, especially as a parent, is always going to be present, and I'm going to be a massive advocate of it, because that's just the simplest truth of life. So if you're ever looking for some tips of how to be an egoist or a lazy person, I'm always here for you. I've got plenty of ways. No, but seriously, it is important. And if you can only afford it, look for help, okay? Remember that the fact that, for example, you're more of a person looking after the house while your partner is the working one, it doesn't mean that you don't get to have a break, okay? Because working with your kids is as much a full-time job as an office job, or even more, for God's sake. Did you see that research done last year that apparently stay-at-home moms, the amount of work that they do equal 2.5 full-time jobs, okay? So guys, take a break. I hope you've taken a break to listen to this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it with your coffee or tea or whatever you're having. I'm going to say that unfortunately I'm going to have to take a break for a week because I'm going for holiday, but I'll be back in 2 weeks' time with a new lovely interview, so I hope you'll be looking forward to it. Don't worry, I won't disappear from my Instagram. By the way, I would really appreciate if you followed me on Instagram at unpolished_mom. You can also find me under the same name on Facebook, and my podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other major podcast platforms. It would mean the world to me if you left a review for me in whatever language, to be honest. Under my episodes on Apple Podcasts, and come and connect with me on social media. I would love to meet you, because if you're listening to me, it means that there is something that we definitely have in common, okay? And I would like to get to know you. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a lovely time and take a break, okay?